Caddis larvae called Rhyacophila, and basically, or Rhyac. It's easier to say Rhyac than try to say the Latin name. But anyway, this is a fly here. Now, or larva, the Caddis, or a caseless Caddis. It's a size 8. Now, you can tie this. Now, the sizes I'm tying is 10s, 8s on a basic straight hook. You can also tie it on a curved hook. It's entirely up to yourself. Both of them work, but don't be shy with the size of the fly. The size of the fly, I mean, it does. They do like a big fly. I've caught in the 8 more than probably than any of the sizes. Now, as I say, I'm using a barbless hook. Now, you can encourage the shape of the fly by bending the hook. And this is basically how I do it, just into the vise. Try and get the hook bends the way it's sitting, so you've got a bit of purchase. Now, just lightly, just take your time, but we bend into it, just like this. Just encourages the shape of the fly. Put that into the vise. There we are. Now, basically to weight the fly, you can use lead, you can use, I like to use wire a lot now. It seems to work, but you can control the depth of this fly by using another fly, like say a tungsten beaded, say nymph or something, which I like to do. This would be like, either on the point more than anything, and then the dropper maybe 18 inches away from it, so that it controls the depth of this. I mean, mainly you're on the hang anyway. You just need that bit of weight to hold the larva or hold the fly. Now, see, you can use different types of wire. You can use copper, which I like to. If you want similar colour to the fly, you can use this is UTC and chartreuse or green, whatever colour you like. Now I'm just going to use the copper wire. I'm going to start about maybe 3mm or so down from the eye. And all I'm going to do is I'll put down a layer and a bit of the copper, because I want to keep the fly really thin. So take away that waste piece just in line with the point of the hook. Now you can start to work your way back up. Now, just as you come round the bend, break it off. Now what I like to do is seal the wire, and I'm just going to put a UV resin on it. It's a light UV resin. And get my dubbing needle, spread this out all the way around. Just take your time, coating the wire, and slightly onto the hook as well. The light, you could use the regular if you want. It's up to yourself. What I'm going to do is encourage it to this corner, which will help keep the shape. Once you're happy, get your torch, set the resin. Now I'm using, basically this is a Pro torch, which comes with the UV resin. Now you can buy a converter, or basically what it does, it allows you to use basically electricity to get the torch to work. And there you see the cable. Now, just to give you an idea how it works, you remove the battery, and you obviously the switched or the screwed off part of your torch. You don't have to buy a new torch. You just basically take it, and then at the end take the battery out. Obviously this replaces the battery, goes up inside, and then screws on. It's very easy to use, and the main advantages is having a strong light which sets the resin. Never have to worry about the battery running out, unless when you're tying you don't have access to electricity, then you need a battery, but you have benefit of the both. So now the thread I'm going to use, I'm just going to use a uni thread 80 and chartreuse. I'm just going to start at the eye, come down. Now I'm going to tie in a small tail or basically what this represents is right at the back of the larva they've got small clasps for holding onto the stones. And this will give the impression of that. Now what I have here is, now I've got a partridge skin dyed olive, and basically these are like the back feathers, but they've got lovely wee slightly marked fibres, kind of marabou type, and I like to use that, so you can pull away the tip. It's just the right kind of colour and markings that suits, and so we tie it in short, not too long, just offer it on the top, a couple of turns, a wee quick look just to see. That's fine, that'll do the job. Looks okay. Now you can basically quickly tie this down, which will keep the shape of the fly to that point there, just to the beginning of the start of the copper wire. Then we carry on all the way up, and then tie in some thin skin. Now thin skin dyed or olive, so much dyed, but basically olive, and this is a width around about 3.5 to 4 mil. The easy way to tie it in is to cut a point, pencil point into it. Now it may look a bit crazy doing this, tying it in the way down, but it helps to keep the thickness, and it adds a bit more colour of the underbody of the fly. My view anyway, I like it like that, all the way down. Doesn't have to be touching turns, close is enough. And then we tie in. Now this material, you could use V-rib, Chartreuse V-rib, or this is called tail lights. Tail lights is just a round, it's not in the V shape. Much the same material. Now what I do is just quite simply use a razor blade, or this is what they call, it's what it says best quality on one side, but it's a haircut razor. There we are. I got these in Thailand, but you could use scalpel blade or something. These work extremely well, so if you can find them. Now, as I say, cut it into a point. Now, this will help taper the start of the body. It doesn't break very easy, this stuff's really strong, but make sure you tie it in nice and tight. And then our body could be it could be, well, I've used rabbit, marabou, I've used the men's seal's fur, but what I'm going to be using here is just an SLF dubbing. This is a Wopsy SLF, synthetic living fibre they call it. In this case this is olive dun. Just lightly dub it into our thread. Very easy to dub this stuff. Slide it up, and we start it really thin, and then we start to taper it, work slightly into a taper. We've got our taper in the body in a bit. Now it's a thin fly, they're thin larvae this, it's not too thick. So it slightly thickens up in the centre, then tapers back towards the point of the hook, or towards the hook, sorry. And a tiny bit more, just to get to the bend. And then we get same SLF but in a dark brown. This is a simple dressing. Now you could put legs on this, you could do what you like. The brown SLF is giving the impression of the legs. The legs are so minute, they're tiny, that, I mean, I'm not going to say the fish is not going to see them, but this fly catches, so I'm happy enough with the dressing. Just forming the shape that I want. They say taper towards the eye of the hook. Make sure that area is clean. Just draw in back with the thread. Keep a wee half hitch at this point. Just see how the thin skin looks, just bringing it over the back. It's fine. Now we don't want it tight, we just want it to lay on the top of the hook. And then we tighten up with the turns of thread to tie it on. We want the laser light, or your V-rib, whatever you're going to use, to slightly give that bumpy look. It's important that you get that part because that is the profile of the larva. And plus it lets a lot more light through it. Just tidy up that area. And again another wee half hitch so that just in case you bump the thread off the eye while you're tying, because when you've trimmed this, it's very hard if it comes loose to tie it back in, so that way it keeps it secure. Now the tapered cut should give us this taper start. Just tighten up. Round about, I would say 8 turns or so. All the way up. Nice and tight. Till you get to the eye, just nice and tight, bring it up. Get your thread turns in, now make sure you catch in your rib. Come at a slight angle here and cut it so you get tapered cut. And then tidy up this area. Now you do go through these flies. I mean I lose a lot of these in the bottom. So having a simple dress and like just a dub body, simple rib up this up with a back on it, doesn't hurt as much when you lose it. So you spend less time trying to retrieve your fly back and more fishing. So now what I'm going to do here is get some Velcro and then just on the edge bring out some of the SLF you're dubbing. Just lightly does it. Both sides. And if it's not coming out too well on one side, just get your, hence the name, the dubbing needle, just you can catch a few fibres. Especially at the bottom, you'll find that you've only got, because it's quite thin, you've got less material to pull out, but then you only need a wee drop, you don't need too much. See how that looks. That's better. Don't worry too much about the body being sparse. If you look at it, you'll find lots of pictures on the internet of this larva, and you'll see the legs up the sides. There we go. That's fine. And if you feel some are too long, just come in and take them back a wee bit. Don't cut it straight, just put the points of the scissors in and then take them out. You can spend a wee bit of time on this, but don't bother too much. Once it's in the water it's fine. Then to get the colour a wee bit better, I'm using the Pantone Pen. This is, the number is 119. We just run it up, colouring in the top, including the head. There you go. And then we darken the thorax a wee bit. This is a permanent marker pen, this is a brown, just top of the head. And the thorax area. There we are. Now for speeding, what I'm going to do is just going to put some UV resin on the head. Then you can finish with a fine coat of varnish once this is put on. The top part first. Like a nice bead-like head, just set it on. Get your torch. Set the resin. Now you can see how fluorescent the laser light is. I mean, it really If the light's right, you'll see these colours show through much better. It's the advantage of having a fluorescent material. So there's a wee bit of hair here, there. Take it away. Now the controller, I meant to say, to switch the light on, there's a wee pedal. It comes with a pedal, if you can find it. It's on the floor. You just put your foot on it. And there we are. That's it. Simple redressing. So see, you can tie it in different forms. As I say, you can tie it in a curved hook, just like a normal, just a standard shape, and it still works. It's really up to you, and don't be shy. Different sizes, even size 14. That's an 8. That's a 10, slightly smaller. And this is the grub hook one, is a size 8. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.